America's loss is our gain, Camilla says after Harry and Meghan engagement news. The Duchess of Cornwall has said America's loss is our gain following the announcement of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's engagement. Speaking during a visit with the Prince of Wales to Stoke-on-Trent, Camilla said the royal family was absolutely thrilled by the news, formally unveiled yesterday, of the forthcoming wedding. She said, "It's brilliant, and as I said, America's loss is our gain. We are all absolutely delighted. As you can see, they are so happy. Sometimes, in a climate where we are surrounded by a lot of bad news, it's a real joy to have a bit of good news for once. As I said before, we are delighted." Earlier, Charles and Camilla had met pantomime actors, interviewed and handled some of Britain's most precious cultural treasures during engagements in the Potteries. On a visit to the Potteries Museum, they witnessed progress on a project to create a free online bank of pre-1900 watercolors from around the world, and catch a glimpse of recently uncovered priceless Iron Age relics. Charles and Camilla, who are both patrons of the watercolor world, had earlier been greeted by the Markle players, who are currently performing Snow White at a nearby theatre. The prince shook hands with 21-year-old actor Cameron Hancock, who is playing the panto's own Prince Charming. The visit came a day after Harry and Miss Markle formally announced their engagement, in what has been billed as a real fairy tale romance. Charles and Camilla had started their tour of Stoke being greeted by a cheering crowd of about 100 people who had turned out in the bright winter sunshine, as Charles quipped, "Are you all here to see the pantomime?" Inside, the couple took a closer look at part of the famous Staffordshire hoard, and donned white gloves to handle the gold leek frith talks, dug up in a field by metal detectorists, with Charles describing the find as amazing. They were also shown the first day vase, thrown by Josiah Wedgwood in 1769 to mark his founding of the Eteria manufactory, and recently secured for the public and future generations after £485,200 was raised for its purchase. Afterwards, the royal party split up, as the Duchess headed across town to Stoke City FC's stadium where, as patron of the National Literacy Trust, she was meeting more than 200 schoolchildren taking part in reading activities. While there, she spoke of her delight at the new royal engagement. Meanwhile, Charles visited Bethesda Chapel, once known as the Cathedral of Methodism, where restoration of the late 18th century church is continuing. Parishioner Doris Arskey, 87, told him she had been coming to the church since she was 16, but apologized for being hard of hearing. She said, "I explained that I was deaf and he said he understood because his great-grandmother was deaf and he used to have to shout at her, to make her hear him." Afterwards, the prince listened to a short organ recital of Elgar's Imperial March by chapel organist Michael Rhodes. Charles, applauding the playing, joked, "Good job, the organ worked."